Hello friends and welcome. I am smiling from ear to ear because I am so excited. Today I want to share my new craft room with you. Now I have big plans for a really thorough, really in-depth craft room tour later on once I get everything organized. I have just gotten moved in, just gotten things in drawers. You'll see here in a few minutes, things aren't necessarily completely organized yet. But I wanted to share with you a pretty quick tour here just to give you an idea of where I'm at, how I have things organized. And later on, I will have a very thorough, more detailed video with lots of information. I'll be sharing later on where I got my organizers. I know you're going to want to know some of those things. So that will come later on. Today is just a fun little preview to give you an idea of where I'm working now. So we are going to start with my island. This is kind of the centerpiece of my craft area. This is what I wanted so badly. I like to stand up when I work, and I don't like to face a wall. I like to face the center of a room. Or option two that I like is to look at a window, but I didn't really have that option down here. So I wanted this island, so we'll start with this. Now, I will mention we are in my basement. And I've heard from some crafters who your rooms are in the basement and you don't like it at all. And we tried to come up with a lot of other options so that I wouldn't have to be down here in the basement. But for various reasons, economical purposes, lots of things, I ended up in the basement. I'm so thankful. I do have a couple of small windows right over here. That helps a lot. But we are making the best of my space here in the basement. So I think that's it. We'll get started. So let me show you my island. So here you can see the view from behind my island a little bit. We're going to walk around here to the front of it, and I will show you in some of the drawers. Now you'll have to bear with me as I'm opening them. Hopefully I don't shake the camera too much. But this island was kind of the splurge of the project. I told you it's the centerpiece. I wanted to be able to store 90% of the supplies I use on a regular basis right there, so that as I'm standing at the island, I can reach into a drawer, grab what I need, and keep crafting. Okay, I love to share inspiration with all of you. If you're new to my channel, I hope you will subscribe while you're here, especially so you can see my big craft room tour later on. But I want to be able to be efficient with what I'm doing with creating projects so that I can share more ideas and inspiration with you. So that's why I designed this island how I did. So let's take a look in these drawers. This one, now every time you do a project, you have some things that you do that you question later on and you're not sure whether you would do them again the second time, right? So this top right here on this drawer is one of those things. I'll explain that here in a second. But this drawer, I wanted this drawer deep enough to hold my 12 by 12 papers standing up in organizers with tabs on top. So this drawer is probably 14 inches deep, I would imagine. It holds, I have my 12 by 12 designer papers here. I have my 6 by 6 designer papers here. Here are my pre-cut card bases. In the back, I do have a 12 by 12 expandable file with some more of my specialty papers. My scrap paper organizer sits right here. I have it pulled out. I have scraps spread out all over the place, organizing them at the moment, so it is not in the drawer right now. But this piece right here, I asked the cabinet maker to put a piece like that on one of my drawers here at the top, because I thought it would make a really nice extra workspace that when I have this pulled out, you know as well as I do, the more horizontal space you have, the better. Now, we also know the more horizontal space you have, the more gets covered and stuff, but I thought it would be really nice maybe to hold like my die cutting machine, maybe my paper trimmer off to the side while I keep my space on the island clear for other things. I'm not sure if it's going to work out as designed. I may end up just removing it from the drawer, and if I do that, it's not a problem at all since it can be pulled out the back. So that is my large drawer on top. Let's look at the next one. And this one is completely disorganized, but this is where I have my dies at the moment, my cut and emboss machine supplies, my mini cut and emboss machine supplies back here. I have just kind of some odds and ends, my embossing folders. I have a heat tool laying there. My stamp cleaning pad ended up there. My second stamparatus, you'll see the one I use more often. You'll see here in a second. This is a container that has some gilded leafing in it, but that's what's in this drawer at the moment. The small drawer on the bottom has complete odds and ends in it. Some pre-cut card bases and envelopes. This has some of my mini, it's a baby wipe container, you can see here, my mini ink pads in it. I store them upside down since ink pads should be stored upside down. Some clear sleeves. I use clear sleeves sometimes to protect some of my cards if I'm using them for classes or other purposes. I have some card boxes that are nice to make card sets, brayers, a ribbon tying tool, and in the back you can see I cut some of this drawer liner for all of my drawers. I have not finished that project. As you can see, this one is just rolled up at the moment, but that is what that is. Now I'll show you right here in the middle something that was actually kind of an afterthought, but I am so glad I thought of this, which it could have been added later on as well. But this is a pull-out drawer right here in the center of my island that the reason I wanted to add it was to store large items like this long arm paper cutter, my scoring board, my trimmer, my stamparatus. That's why I wanted it here. But what I found is I thought I would just store these items here and pull them up on my work surface when I needed them. What I'm finding is that I can pull it out to cut paper, push it back in when I'm done cutting paper, and then it just gets those large items out of the way, which I am absolutely loving. Now, I don't really like all of this stacked on top of each other. I do have plans to hopefully put some kind of organizers that would hold some of that down here in the center, or down here along the side walls, so that I could have some of those things hanging there and pull them out. Now you'll notice the extension cords here and this outlet, the receptacle there, do have power to this. I do need to run these cords to an outlet in the wall to have power to it, and I have not done that yet. So I'll tell you a debate that I'm having. One of my favorite ways, or my favorite way to store my most used dies in the past, was to have magnetic sheets on the inside of a cabinet door that I could store those dies on, open up that door, grab the die that I wanted, and use it and put it back. And it's really fast and easy. So I'm debating putting magnetic sheets right along here, but then I have a second spot I'm looking at that I'm considering putting them there as well. So I will attempt to remember to tell you that when we get to that point. Let's look at the drawers here. My top drawer here, I wanted this to hold those supplies that I use all the time. So right now it's kind of just a catch-all. You may notice I have two sets of ink pads. I have decided, since I do a lot of classes, that I think I deserve my own set of ink pads, because the ones that I use in classes get kind of beat up sometimes. So I've been using them for a long time. I just ordered this set as my very own set. And then I have another set you'll see in the background on my shelving. So here is just a pile of really assorted adhesives, mini paper trimmer. The scissors and bone folder actually should be in my other organizer. I'll show you here in a little bit, but that's probably where I put them when I first unpacked, and that's where they are at the moment. So that is going to be just supplies I use really, really often. My blocks, I need to put some clear blocks in there. My second drawer, I wanted these to be shallow for lots of those shallow supplies that, you know, when you have deep drawers, it's hard to store them and find what you need. So this drawer has some masks, some pastels and watercolor pencils, embossing paste, heat embossing supplies. That is my little tackle box full of pre-made sentiment tags that I absolutely love and I use it a lot. My embossing buddies for embossing, extra trimmer blades. I use my lint roller, that's the name of this, lint roller to remove little fuzzies that end up on my ink pads, which probably won't be happening as much with the set that I'm just using on my own. A lot of times that comes from using baby wipes to clean your stamps, which I use. A couple of other tools that I love instead. Post-it notes if I want to do some masking, some more odds and ends tools and adhesives. This drawer. This drawer is one of my favorites. This is my punch drawer. So again, I designed these drawers. I planned this all out ahead of time so they would be the right depth for the supplies I wanted to store in each one. But I love that they all fit in there. I did check with the cabinet maker on the weight rating. I think these drawers are rated for 150 pounds, which seemed pretty impressive to me. This drawer at the moment has some of my newest products. I like to focus on some of the newer products when I am making my videos and my projects to share. So I like to keep them in a separate place. So there's some of my newer products. I also have my embellishments, my most used embellishments here. In this bottom drawer has just an odds and ends collection of cards. You've probably seen a lot of these in recent videos that I've made if you follow along with the things I share. And if you don't, please subscribe while you're here. So I designed this drawer to be the right depth to be able to store cards vertically this direction with dividers in between them. And what I want to do with this is I like to hang on to certain card designs like fun folds, cards with techniques, so that either they can help give me inspiration for future projects and videos, or that I can actually pull them out and share them again if they are relevant to another video I'm sharing. So my plan is to create dividers with tabs that I can create different labels on to help keep them organized and then pull out projects as needed. Next, let's take a look at this dresser. This is directly behind where I stand and work, stand and craft, because crafting isn't work, is it? So as you can see, it's not finished. I redid this dresser. It was old and beat up, and I painted it and put a new finish on the top, and I have not even gotten the handles, the pulls back on, as you can see. Just the two that wouldn't come off in the first place because they'd been on so long. So what I have in this, I wanted this dresser, these drawers right behind me to hold my stamps in particular. And I am amazed at how many stamps I can fit in these two drawers. So the large two drawers on the bottom hold my stamps and a few other supplies. The small drawers on the top, the one on the right, holds my ribbons. They fit in there perfectly, stored vertically. Some of my ribbons, you'll see some others in the background on my ribbon organizer. In that center drawer, I have just some odds and ends, like extra chamois for cleaning stamps. Some of my extra supplies I keep on hand for classes when I have more people around crafting with me. And then the small drawer on the left is lots and lots of acrylic blocks, which I keep on hand for classes as well. On the far side of the island along the wall, I have these drawer units that we built in and put a countertop on top of. I really wanted to maximize my space, and these are wonderful for all sorts of supplies. I have extra craft supplies, I have extra adhesives, things like glue guns and magnets and Velcro and packaging supplies, treat boxes that are made up, things people have given me that I want to use as inspiration for future projects, just all sorts of things in these drawers that are really nice. And here you can see my two windows. If you're wondering what that thing is sitting outside, that is our irrigation pivot in the field out there. And we have some snow on the ground, you can see. But I love these drawer units. And again, wanted to have as much horizontal space as possible, as much workspace as possible, and put that countertop over top of them. Now let's look at my shelving that you see behind me in my videos, my shelving along the walls. So we created these shelving units using pipes and plywood, and I really like them because we were able to do it ourselves. I was able to design them in the size I wanted, the height, so the shelves at the top are closer together, the ones at the bottom are a little bit taller and farther apart. But the things I have on the shelving here, you can see my paper organizers, my ribbon organizer, some of my past paper pumpkin boxes that I've decorated and labeled for some small items, my cut and emboss machines, blending brushes. Down there at the bottom on the right side, you can see that pink organizer. That is something I think I'm going to store there, and then when I come down and craft, I can just grab it and put it on my work table. And it has lots of my commonly used supplies, my bone folders, take your pick tool, glue, water painters, stamp and pierce mat, cleaning tools, my chamois and my stamp and scrub, all sorts of things like that. And then over there on the left side, the shelves over there, you can see more paper storage, my marker and ink pad storage, a large stack of white cardstock I need to find a home for. You can see my ink refills sitting there. They used to be on top of my stamp pad and marker storage, but the way I have them organized right now, they don't fit right there. So I think I'm going to keep them in my island, and just a few other items down there towards the bottom. When I'm crafting here at my island, this is my view. And what's behind those doors is a built-in closet with some large shelving. I wanted places that I could store boxes and tubs and larger items because they either were going to have to be in a storage room or in a storage closet, and I really wanted to keep them here close for when I need them. We had these old doors and these old rollers, so we were able to put that together. And yeah, it's just some nice large shelving for larger items. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing my craft area. Like I said before, I may not be answering a lot of questions right now about my organizers, where things came from, some of that. I will be sharing that for a video later on, so make sure you're subscribed so that you will see when that video comes out. I can't wait to share it with you when the time comes. I hope you will watch along with my crafty inspiration. I love to share card making and other paper craft projects with you. So stop back to see some of those. Keep crafting, my friends. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you'll be back again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.